All right, we are going to be working on different kinds of context clues this week. There are many different kinds of context clues. And how do you remember the different kinds of context clues? We are going to let's make a deal with context clues. So the way for us to remember the different kinds of context clues is D-E-A-L-S. Okay? Deals. This is going to be definition. We have definition context clues. We have example context clues. We have antonyms. Logic or inference. And then we have synonyms. Context clues. We can also use word parts, prefixes, suffixes, and root words. To figure out what a word means. Okay, so here are some examples that I'm going to be giving you for each using the same situation. So basically you're talking about Mr. Fry, who's a principal, and we're trying to find out what the word affable means. So I'm going to show you how each of the different context clues are different using a very similar sentence and just changing it to be the different context clue. So I'm going to start here and write definition. So the definition context clue tells us a definition. So an example of that would be Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He is pleasantly easy to approach, and always friendly. Okay, so the word affable is right here, and we're trying to figure out what it means. Now, if I look here, this tells me what affable means using a definition. Okay, so the definition is right here. He is easy to approach and he's very friendly. So that would be a definition example. Another one would be giving an example of what the person means so you could figure out what the word means by using that example and applying it. Mr. Fry is an affable principal. Now we're going to give examples of what he does to make him that affable. He knows everybody's name. If you have a problem, talk to him. You can talk to him. Okay. Now here's a couple examples. He knows everybody's name, and you can talk to him. So someone who knows everyone, and is easy to talk to is very nice. So affable must have to do with someone being very nice, very pleasant, easy to go to, things like that. So that's what our examples tell us. My next one is antonyms. So antonyms means opposite. So if you have an antonyms, you'll see unlike so-and-so, or this person is different than the other one because they are this. So then if the other person is opposite, then you know that the word must mean opposite of what they're trying to say. I miss Mr. Fry. So here they're going to talk about how the new principal is different than Mr. Fry. And that will show us, and by describing the new principal, that will show us what the word affable means in this sentence, because we're saying that Mr. Fry is different than the new principal. Our new principal is cranky and unapproachable. Mr. Fry was so affable. So the way that they wrote this is that the new principal is very different than the Mr. Fry. He is unapproachable and he is cranky. So because of that, then I have to say that Mr. Fry was nice, opposite of cranky, and approachable, opposite of unapproachable. A lot of times you'll see the word unlike, or this is this, but the other one was different. Since a new principal is different, and unapproachable, and the author is saying Mr. Fry is different. We can tell Mr. Fry was nice. Okay. Now my next one is logic or inference, using an inference. Using what you know and applying it to what they're saying. So for example, you don't need to worry about talking to Mr. Fry. He's an affable principal. So you don't need Now, how do I figure out what that means? Well, if I don't need to worry about talking to somebody, then they must be nice. They must be someone who I can easily go to, and that is going to tell me that affable means that they're nice and that they're easy to go to because of those inferences. All right, so here, since we know someone we don't have to worry about is nice, affable must mean nice. Or something similar to it. Okay. You're going to pause this and finish taking these notes, and then we're going to go on to the next page to talk about synonym. Okay, so a synonym is a word that means the same. So usually these are pretty easy. These are one of the easiest ones to be able to figure out. Mr. Fry is an affable or easygoing and nice principal. Now, affables here, we have easygoing and nice. When we use the word or, that usually tells us that we're using a synonym. So easygoing and nice are synonyms of affable. So we know that, let me see, this would be synonyms of affable. Look for or. When you see the word or, that means that usually synonyms follow behind. Now, I also took note that you can use word parts such as prefixes and suffixes. So if there is A-B-L-E, we know able means to be able to. Then I know that it has to be doing with something that is able to. You're able to go to them. They're very nice. A lot of times if you can't use other context clues, like this sentence, you'd be like, I'm not really sure what they're trying to say here. Is an affable principal. Well, we knew that able means to be able to. So it has to do with something that is able to go to, able to approach, very nice, very caring. So that would be using your word parts. We're going to be going through all the different synonyms and antonyms and word parts, logic, inference, example, definition, context clues throughout the next week. And you're going to be practicing them individually and how to find those context clues. This is one of the most important reading skill that you could use while you're reading because it helps you find out unknown words to help increase your comprehension.